Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a technique that I recently discovered works really well for catching inland lake walleye. Kind of stumbled across this while I was actually making a video for how to spider rig for crappie, which is a technique used heavily in the South, not so much in the North. In the process of doing that, I was able to establish a pattern for catching walleye as well, and kind of excited about it. It's new technique, and but it makes perfect sense that it would work for walleye when you stop and think about it. So stick around and let's talk about it. So spider rigging is a technique where you're basically trolling with rods that are sort of being pushed at the front end of your boat. The technique was developed for crappie fishermen in the South, or by crappie fishermen in the South, as a way of sort of sneaking up on the fish by just kind of quietly trolling using an electric trolling motor, and then using a weighted setup to get a jig straight down underneath a relatively long rod. Crappie rods tend to be quite long. So in the process of shooting this video for crappie, I ended up discovering that this technique works really well for catching these walleye as well. You can see here in the process of landing the first one, I just got it in the boat and the second one hit. And unfortunately, it kind of took me off guard and caught me off guard, and I tried to swing him in the boat, and he, as soon as I got his weight out of the water, he broke off and got away. But got me kind of excited, and I thought, well, maybe this is just a freak occurrence here, and that would be it, and I'd find the crappie. But as I continued to patrol the same depth of water, I just caught more walleye, and literally in about an hour and a half's time, I limited out. Would have limited out. Of course, I was letting the fish go. I wasn't targeting them that day. But what I realized is that on these impoundments, the walleye, tend to stay near the bottom like they often do. And with this setup, you're able to cover a lot of the territory they inhabit very efficiently. And I think that was the key here is I found the right depth of water, or I happened upon the right depth of water where the fish were hanging out. And I was using baits that, imitated the type of forage they were looking for, just smaller minnows. This is Michigan, so we don't get real big bait fish up here. So the same sort of size bait fish that would attract a crappie were attracting these walleye. And I'm going to do a little bit more of this type of fishing, and I'll do an update in a video in the future. But I believe this technique is a gem for these types of inland lakes. This would never work out on Lake Erie. The wind and waves out there, are way too big for this type of fishing. This needs to be on lakes where you're fishing relatively quiet water. When the wind gets up too much and you start developing a wake on the water, this technique does not work very well. You need to have good boat control, and that's one of the beauties of it is when you are fishing calm water, you can fine-tune the speed of your trolling motor into the tenth of a mile an hour that the fish are really looking for or keying in on, and you can make really minor adjustments to increase your catch rate. That's why it works for one of the reasons it works so well for crappie. But again, here it was dynamite for these walleye. As I said, I probably could have caught these things all day long. I mean, this is the brightest part of the day here, and I was catching fish, fishing anywhere between about 7 to maybe 13, 14 feet of water around the edges of this lake, just moving around. They were finding it. So. Give this technique a try. I did a video on crappie fishing for using spider rigging, but if you're interested in even giving that a go and you're looking for another reason to get set up for it, this is certainly one of them if you like to catch walleye, especially if you're near an inland lake or impoundment that has a healthy population of walleye. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing to our channel. Feel free to share it with all of your friends. Thanks for watching.